Yo, what's up guys? In today's video, I'm just going to be looking at like the best 5 potential draft prospects that the Chicago Bulls 100% should interview and of course potentially draft with the 4th overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft. But before I get into the video today, if you guys missed my last video, definitely go check that out. It was pretty much just me talking about like the whole Bulls possibly trading our 4th pick for Ben Simmons trade rumor, and also the trade rumor going around about us trading up trying to draft LaMelo Ball. So definitely check out that video if you missed it. But yeah, let's just jump into today's video. As you guys know, the Bulls moved up to the 4th pick in the 2020 NBA draft. And the 4th pick is a high pick for us, man. We've drafted 7 for pretty much 3 years now. So this pick is a huge pick for the Bulls and especially our future. And with us having a top 5 pick, the Bulls have a lot of options. Like I said, we could possibly trade it up, trade down, trade up. You know, you never know. There's going to be a bunch of rumors coming out. I'm definitely going to make any videos on those, just talking about them and keeping you guys updated. But in my opinion, I believe the Bulls are going to keep the pick, and I believe we should. I believe we should just draft a nice young guy to add to our already talented and young roster. So in today's video, I'm just going to be going over 5 prospects and pretty much just breaking down their game and explaining how they're fit with the Chicago Bulls current roster. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. Of course, as you guys know, the big number 1 and number 2 options is going to be Denny Avdija. And of course, he is a wing / forward. You know, he's more likely a small forward. But at the same time, I do see some people saying he could play the forward position in the NBA, which I'm going to be honest, I don't really believe that. You know, he's only 19, which is really good to see. You know, he's a nice young player to add to our roster. He was also the youngest MVP in the history of the Israel League with an all-around game, and he's super versatile, and I feel like he just fit well with the Chicago Bulls. Of course, as you guys know, the Bulls' whole small forward position, pretty much we don't even have a small forward, let's be honest. They're not consistent, and they just can't stay healthy, which really sucks. So right there, he it pretty much connects him to us because we need help at the wing, man. We need a small forward, and he also has good size on him. He's 6'9", and he has a great wingspan. You know, he's been playing overseas for many years now. He knows the game. He's a very high IQ player. And the best part about his game is that he's shown a lot of playmaking abilities. And he also has he has great ball handling. And he has pretty much, he's like a point guard in a small forward's body. He has great playmaking, great ball handling. And he has great skills of a point guard. And his best offense is him excelling in the pick and roll and the pick and pop, and as you guys know, that's what the whole NBA game is right now, so that's good to see. And he's also a really good finisher at the basket, you know, and he also shown a lot of improvement on his defense in his most recent season, and there's a lot of belief overseas that he could become a solid defensive player, but of course he needs to continue to work on that and get a bit stronger. But at the same time, his shooting has gotten better every month overseas, but at the same time his shooting still needs to be developed and worked on. You know, he has shot pretty much 32% from the 3-point range in his career, which is pretty good. I believe he could get those numbers up though. But the really thing that scares me is that he's his career free throw percentage is only a 58%, and that's really bad for a decent, I'd say he's a pretty decent shooter, 32% from 3, but shooting 58% on free throw, he definitely needs to work on that. And the next player, of course, the Bulls could draft is Obi Toppin. You know, Denny and Obi Toppin are the big names. And you guys know I've made a lot of videos on these two guys. You know, Obi Toppin played for Dayton. He's a power forward, small forward, or center. You can really play any of that. And I'm just going to be honest, Obi Toppin is a walking bucket. You know, he has a bunch of offensive skills. He was one of the most efficient scorers in the country. He pretty much shot 63% from the field. And he's a dominant finisher at the rim. He's always dunking on someone and just, you know, he's built. He has an NBA ready body. And he's also a great shooter from 3. He was pretty much shooting 40% from 3. And for a Bulls team that has struggled to create an offense, I feel Obi Toppin could slide right into our starting 5 or even be a 6-man. And he could really help our offense. There is some concerns on his defense. You know, I've been seeing a lot of things that his defense isn't the best. And he's kind of slow to guard 3s in the NBA. You know, he has a great body for the NBA, and he's also 6'9". I feel like he'd fit well into like a small ball offense, but of course he'll be like undersized if he plays a 4. But it'll be unclear if he can like hang with 4s on the perimeter on defense and also in the post. And if the Bulls want to just like surprise people and not draft like a small forward like I expect us to, there's also a great young center that could be there at the 4th pick, and that is Onyek Udoh. And he is from USC. You know, he's a center, and he's pretty much considered like the best center prospect in the draft after James Wiseman. And he's like the perfect modern day center, even though he is a bit undersized. He's 6'9", just like Wendell. You know, he pretty much averaged 3.5 blocks in like per like 40 minutes in college, and he pretty much also averaged like 2 steals. And he's also a really good rebounder on both ends of the floor. You know, he's a good finisher at the rim, and he's really good in the pick and roll. You know, he's shown like he's okay in the post, but of course he needs to continue to work on his like post moves and his mid-range touch that could of course help spacing in the NBA. But like I said in my past video, the Bulls already have like an undersized center in Wendell Jr. And I'm really high on Wendell, so I don't really see the need of us drafting him. So you never know, man. But like I said, he reminds me a lot of Wendell Jr. and we really don't need another undersized center on this roster. And the next player that the Chicago Bulls could draft with the 4th pick is a point guard, and his name is Tyrese Haliburton. You know, I always see a lot of you guys in the comments messaging, like comment about him, saying the Bulls should draft him. He is a point guard, which it does suck that we just like pretty much drafted a point guard in Coby White, even though I see a lot of you guys saying that he's more of a shooting guard, which I do believe he could play shooting guard. But at the same time, I'd like to give at least Coby White like half a season as a starter, at least give him a fair chance, because last season, you know, I believe he should have been starting the whole season. He's the best point guard on the roster, and he pretty much didn't play at all. He started 1 game, and then the season got suspended. But back to Tyrese, he's a 6'5" guard with a nice wingspan. He has great size for his position. But the thing about him is he's kind of skinny. He needs to bulk up. He's only like 175 pounds, which isn't much for being like a 6'5" point guard. You know, he's a really creative passer and a great playmaker. And he could serve as like the lead guard to help the Bulls like run their offense more and like consistently, along with like scoring first guards and like Zach LaVine and Coby White. And he also has a lot of experience playing off the ball. And I hate to say this, but he's like not the best at like creating his own shot, which definitely sucks because the Bulls have a high draft pick. And of course, if you can create your shot, you're automatically a better player in the NBA. But even though he is a great shooter, he is a career 43% shooter from beyond the 3-point arc. And from the free throw line, he also shoots like 78%, which isn't bad. Of course, that needs to improve and get better. But that's not a bad option as well. And the final option is another point guard, and his name is Killian Hayes. You know, he's pretty much just like Tyrese. Of course, he's like a point guard. He has great playmaking, and of course, he can run the Bulls offense with Zach LaVine. You know, he excels in the pick and roll, and he's also a 6'5" guard. And he's like possibly the draft's like best playmaker behind LaMelo Ball. And he's only 19, so he's a good young player that could be added to our roster. But it does suck that the Bulls just drafted a 19-year-old last year in Coby White, like I said. But Hayes, like, he projects as a much better like facilitator on the offensive end. You know, Hayes will be challenged though in the NBA. He's not that like athletic, but he is a decent like playmaker and a decent scorer. You know, he shot pretty much 45% from the field, 40% from the 3, which is really good. And he's a great free throw shooter, and he shot 90% from the line. You know, he also played overseas, so I wouldn't mind taking a look at him either. But I'm sure the Bulls are going to interview all these guys, and hopefully Arcidiacono can draft the right guy to fit our roster and run our offense. Definitely let me know who you guys want the Bulls to draft with the 4th pick, or if we should trade it or anything like that. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video of like breaking down potential draft prospects for the Bulls. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Have a good one.